Good morning to everyone. Today our topic is transport of carbon dioxide. So from this topic we will clearly understand how the carbon dioxide is transported from the tissue shell to the lungs. To better understand this topic, we will study in three important headings. First heading is diffusion of carbon dioxide in the blood. Second one is transport of carbon dioxide in the blood. Third one is release of carbon dioxide in the lungs. First we'll see diffusion of carbon dioxide in the blood. So already we know that in the tissue cell how the carbon dioxide is produced. So due to the constant metabolism take place, the final end product of metabolism is carbon dioxide. Once the carbon dioxide is formed in the tissue, it will be diffused from the tissue into the tissue capillaries by the mechanism concentration gradient. Here the simple diffusion take place. We already know that the simple diffusion is a passive transport. That means the transport of substance from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. Before going to see the diffusion of carbon dioxide in the blood, first we'll see the concentration gradient of carbon dioxide in different region. Inside the tissue, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 46 mmHg. In the interstitial fluid, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 45 mmHg. In the arterial blood, that is tissue capillary, the carbon dioxide partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 400 mmHg. In the venous blood, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 45 mmHg. In the alveolar air, the carbon dioxide partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 40 mmHg. So from the above concentration gradient of carbon dioxide in different region, first we'll see this is the tissue. Here we already saw the carbon dioxide partial pressure of carbon dioxide 46 mmHg. In between this two tissue, this space we call as interstitial fluid or interstitial space which contain the fluid is called interstitial fluid. Here the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 45 mmHg. So the difference between these two is 1 mmHg. Based on this 1 mmHg, the rapid transport of carbon dioxide take place from the tissue to the interstitial space or interstitial fluid. Now we already know that the interstitial fluid carbon dioxide PCO2 is 45 mmHg and this is the tissue capillary. So here the tissue capillary it is 40 mmHg. See the concentration gradient here, the difference is 5 mmHg. Based on this 5 mmHg, the carbon dioxide from the interstitial fluid is rapidly transported into the blood capillaries or tissue capillary. So once it reaches the tissue capillary, it reaches the pulmonary vein or venous blood. Not pulmonary vein, sorry, it is a venous blood. Here in the venous blood, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 40 mmHg. And in the alveoli, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 40 mmHg. So now it takes place in the lungs. See, is inside the lungs. So inside the lungs, here the concentration gradient is 5 mmHg. So from the vein or means we call as pulmonary artery, the carbon dioxide will be transported from the capillary into the alveoli based on this 5 mmHg. So the diffusion mostly take place with the help of the partial pressure of carbon dioxide. So for this you have to understand or you want to know this concentration gradient in different region, then you can easily understand the transport of carbon dioxide. Diffusion of carbon dioxide in different area. So now we will go to the second topic. Once it diffused from the tissue into the tissue capillary, so inside the blood, how it is transported? It is transported, the transport of carbon dioxide in the blood take place by three important steps. One, it is in dissolved state. Second, in bicarbonate form. It is transported in bicarbonate form. And in third, it is transported in amino compounds. So in dissolved state, it is about 7% will be transported in this form, 70% by bicarbonate form and 23% by carb-amino compound. First we'll see about in dissolved form. Only 2 or 3 points you have to write it in the dissolved form. That is 0.3 ml of carbon dioxide in 100 ml of blood. So among the 100 ml of blood, 0.3 ml of carbon dioxide is transported in dissolved form. That means either it will be dissolved in the water or plasma. That means among this 100%, 77% is transported in this manner. Then we will go to the second way of transport. The carbon dioxide is transported by plasma bicarbonate form. So 70% of transport, that is major carbon dioxide, is transported in this form. However, this bicarbonate first formed in the RBC, then it is transported or diffused into the plasma. Let's see how this bicarbonate is formed in the RBC first and how it is transported or diffused into the plasma. You will see it in the diagram. First I explained this diagram, and this is the tissue. We already know that this is 46 mmHg of carbon dioxide is there. From the tissue the carbon dioxide enters the blood capillaries. You know that inside the capillary the RBC is there. So I will draw one single RBC in a big manner, larger manner, then only we can understand what is how the process take place inside. Once the carbon dioxide enter into the capillary, it will be enter into the RBC. So once it enter into the RBC, it combined with water, H2O and CO2 will form carbonic acid, H2CO3, with the help of the enzyme carbonic anhydrase. This carbonic anhydrase is present inside the RBC. With the help of this carbonic anhydrase, H2O and CO2 form carbonic acid. This carbonic acid is a weak acid, hence it will be easily dissociated into H plus and HCO3. It will be easily dissociated into HCO3. We already studied the bicarbonate is formed. This HCO3 is called bicarbonate. Now this bicarbonate is formed inside the RBC. Now it will be diffused from the RBC into the plasma. How? So once the concentration gradient of bicarbonate will be increases, is automatically transported with the help of the band 3 protein. This is called band 3 protein, which will be transport the bicarbonate from the RBC into the plasma. So by continuously exchanging this bicarbonate inside the RBC, the negativity is formed. To maintain this negativity, the chloride present in the plasma will be transported or it will be replaced for bicarbonate. This we call it as chloride shift. I will explain it once again. Once this carbon dioxide and water will be joined together by the enzyme carbonic anhydrase forming carbonic acid, it will be easily dissociated into H plus and HCO3. Once the HCO3 is formed, it will be transported, means it will be diffused into the plasma by replacing chloride inside. How this chloride will becomes? The sodium chloride in the plasma will be dissociated into sodium and chloride. This chloride will be enter into the plasma to maintain the electronegativity. So this we call it as chloride shift or Hamburger phenomena. This we call it as chloride shift or Hamburger phenomena. The important mechanism is to maintain negative charge inside the cell. And this protein is called band 3 protein. Now this bicarbonate bind with sodium bicarbonate, and it will be present in the plasma. It will be transported in the bicarbonate form in the plasma of about 70%. So here the H plus is there. It will be bind with hemoglobin to act as a buffer here. So another important note we want to get into consider this. Due to entry of more chloride inside the RBC, the osmotic pressure here will be increases. So due to the osmosis process, the fluid from outside enter into the RBC. So that's why the venous blood is somewhat more fragile than the arterial blood. So the third form is transport of carbon dioxide in carb-amino form. That is 23% is transported in this form. That is carbon dioxide is bind with amino acid, carb-amino form, carb-amino acid. That is in the plasma, the carbon dioxide is bind with amino group of plasma protein. You know the plasma protein. In the plasma protein, the amino group is present. So the carbon dioxide bind with the amino group of plasma protein to form plasma protein amino acid. And inside the RBC, inside the RBC, what happened? This carbon dioxide bind with hemoglobin amino group of hemoglobin that form H plus NHCOH. And this is reversible forms, and it has loosely bound. The bound between the carbon dioxide and amino group of hemoglobin is loosely bound, so it will be easily released in the alveoli. So till now we saw how the carbon dioxide is diffused from the tissue into the blood capillaries. So from the blood capillaries, how it is transported? It is transported in three forms. One is dissolved form, the second one is bicarbonate form, third one is carb-amino compound form. In that bicarbonate form is 70%. We already saw about chloride shift and all. Now we'll see about carbon dioxide dissociation curve. So little bit difficult one, this one. So we'll see it in simpler manner. First we'll see what is present in x-axis. So this is the x-axis. Here we'll mention partial pressure of carbon dioxide in mmHg. That means the pressure is created only by carbon dioxide. And this y-axis belongs to carbon dioxide content in the blood. So now we want to know about what carbon dioxide pressure is present in the arterial and venous blood, what carbon dioxide content is present in the arterial and venous blood. See this table column, you can understand clearly. This is PCO2, partial pressure of carbon dioxide. In the arterial blood it is 40 mmHg, whereas in the venous blood it is 45 mmHg. The difference only it is 5 mmHg. And also the carbon dioxide content is 48 ml, and in the venous blood it is 52 ml. We already know that the venous blood contain more amount of carbon dioxide, only 52 ml. The difference is only 4 ml. So based on this, the curve will be formed here. Okay, so based on this table column we will put the curve. The curve will become in the linear form, whereas in oxygen dissociation curve it will becomes in sigmoid shape, where here it is formed as linear form. So to understand this purpose, you also know about PO2 means oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood, you know that oxygenated blood means the oxygen content will be more. The partial pressure of oxygen is 100 mmHg, whereas in deoxygenated blood the partial pressure of oxygen is 40 mmHg. So based on this association, we'll give the curve in linear form.